You know the song, right? Of course you do. You've probably even done the dance. But behind what is maybe the biggest viral hit in internet history, well, it isn't some massive corporation or just a lucky break. It's really a story about one person, his crazy vision, and a decade of just grinding it out in silence. Just look at this number for a second. 13 billion views. It's kind of hard to even wrap your head around. It's the most watched video in the history of the internet. We're talking more views than there are actual human beings on Earth. And the wildest part? It all started with one ridiculously simple idea. So, you see, the story of Baby Shark isn't really about the song at all. It's about its creator, a man named Min-Sik Kim. He was a Korean programmer who literally bet everything he had, his career, his savings, on a dream that honestly probably seemed completely insane to everyone around him. And that's the real question, isn't it? How does that even happen? Well, let me tell you, it was not luck. It was a strategy, a formula, built over years of struggle, of analyzing data, and just having this unshakable belief in his mission. So now, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down exactly how he did it.
Everybody loves to call Baby Shark an overnight success. But the truth? It was an overnight success that took 6 years to make. The real story started long before any of us ever heard do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
You have to understand, Min-Sik Kim had it made. We're talking graduate of a top university in South Korea, landed a super secure corporate job. He had the golden ticket. And in a culture that really values stability, he did the one thing you're just not supposed to do. He quit. He took his own life savings to chase this personal obsession he had. This belief that education for kids could actually be fun, not just some boring chore. That was the whole mission.
And for 6 straight years? Crickets. No one was paying attention. His company Pinkfong was constantly fighting for funding, going up against giants like Disney. Honestly, most startups would have folded, but they just kept creating because they were so driven by that mission. See, every video they put out wasn't just another piece of content. It was like a little science experiment to figure out what really truly captures a kid's imagination. This wasn't 6 years of failure. It was 6 years of deep R&D.
And this quote from him just says it all, doesn't it? The goal was never to go viral. The goal was to just keep making good stuff that served their mission. The virality, that wasn't the target. It was just a side effect of years and years of disciplined, focused work.
Okay, so if it wasn't a lucky accident, what was the strategy? Well, Baby Shark wasn't just some random idea they threw at the wall. Nope. It was the end result of everything Min-Sik and his team had learned during those 6 invisible years. It was basically a formula. Let's break it down.
And here is where it gets really brilliant. His core insight, his secret weapon, was this idea of radical simplicity. Min-Sik believed the biggest mistake people make is trying to be too clever, too complex. So while everyone else might have thought Baby Shark was too basic, he understood that its simplicity was actually its greatest superpower. It was engineered to be effortless.
You have to understand, this was built piece by piece. Step 1, pick a theme that any kid anywhere in the world would instantly recognize. A shark. Perfect. Step 2, make a melody and lyrics so simple, so repetitive, that they are literally impossible to forget. And then, step 3, the masterstroke, create a dance so unbelievably easy that a toddler can do it. Participation isn't just encouraged, it's practically irresistible. This wasn't a happy accident. It was strategy by design.
So, they had the recipe perfected. In 2016, the song goes live on YouTube. But you know, a brilliant strategy is only half the story. It needs that perfect moment to just ignite. For 2 whole years, Baby Shark was a slow burn. It did okay, but it wasn't a monster hit. And then, opportunity came knocking. And because they had done all that prep work, Pinkfong was ready.
In May of 2018, it happened. The explosion. The song, which had been sitting there online for 2 years, gets picked up for a TikTok challenge. And suddenly, it wasn't just a kid's song anymore. It became a global cultural event. This, right here, is what happens when years of patient preparation finally meet one single, perfect opportunity.
And just look at the effect this had on the company. Pinkfong went from a small team of around 50 people to over 600 in just a couple of years. I mean, managing that kind of explosive growth is an insane challenge. It can tear a company apart. But they held it together because that mission, making education fun, that was their North Star for every single decision they had to make.
And here's the real genius. From that one viral moment, Min-Sik built a full-blown empire.
The song wasn't the final product. It was the key that unlocked the door to this massive global franchise. We're talking TV shows, movies, merchandise, live tours, you name it. One simple little song became a multi-billion-dollar business.
So what does this whole incredible journey actually mean for you? Because the story of Min Seok Kim isn't just a fun anecdote about a cartoon shark. It's really a blueprint for anyone out there who has a dream they want to build.
Okay, so here are the big lessons. First, you have to play the long game. That whole overnight success thing is a total myth. Real success is built day by day, over years. Second, your mission has to be bigger than money. That purpose is what's going to carry you through the tough times. Third, embrace your limitations. Not having a ton of resources forces you to be more focused and way more creative. And finally, know who you're creating for, deeply. These are the principles that built the entire Baby Shark empire.
If you walk away with just one thing, let it be this. Min Seok Kim did not get lucky. He got prepared. Think of it this way. He spent 6 years building the perfect surfboard. So when that once-in-a-lifetime wave of opportunity finally showed up, he was ready to ride it.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Min Seok Kim bet 6 years of his life on the simple idea that learning could be fun. So the question for you is, what's the simple, powerful idea that you are willing to commit to day in and day out for the long haul?